And if you don't want to be seen, you are welcome to turn off your camera. Otherwise, you will be on the recording. What I'd like to start with first is just a welcome and introduction. So everybody should be able to see my screen at this time. You see the phrase up there in quotes, pass the baton. That's a little bit of an warm-up activity, just a way for us to kind of get to know each other and also see what your purpose is for joining us today, kind of what your expectation was for the session. Steven and I worked together to kind of create a workshop that covered a lot of different things that my teachers have had questions on, but also what Karen had reported to me that you tutors as well had reported on. So we are going to start with pass the baton. The way this works, you can see the directions up here. You're going to introduce yourself. So if you're a tutor, tell us your name, what you tutor, and then one thing you'd like to learn today. And then if you're a staff member, again, give your name, your role at the agency, and then the different ways that you use Zoom. Zoom has really opened up the world in many different ways. And we can do a lot of different things with Zoom. So that's what we'll be introducing for ourselves. And once you've done that, then you're going to call on the next person. So our purpose today is to interface with this platform. So you should be able to see a list of folks on your screen, and you can select their name from that screen to call on the next person. Okay, so I'll get everybody started. My name is Jen Cassimi. I am the Director of Curriculum and Instruction here at DCLC, which means my team is the teacher team. I've really grown to use Zoom, and I will say I never used Zoom before until the onset of instructional delivery. My own experience has really grown, but what I think I can say about Zoom is we have not only been able to engage students with classes, but we're able to reach out to students to solve barriers, to have them meet with our case managers, to help them find employment by working with an employment coach. So Zoom has really opened up the different opportunities for us in our agency and what we can do for students. All right, so next step, I'm going to call on a person. I see Ann Weisbord, if I'm saying that correctly, front and center. So yes. Unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and tell us what you tutor.
Okay, thanks. I've been off and on with DCLC for many, many years. I love it a lot. I tutor ESL, and over the years, I've had a variety of students from different levels. Over the past year, I guess, was the first non-face-to-face. I've been Zooming. I Zoom in my work as well. I'm not a Zoom expert by any face at all. I struggle with it. This is it. We have to have it if we're going to connect with people today. So I need to be fluid, I guess, with Zoom. I don't know how to put up polling questions, and I would like to put up something like my own exercises. I make exercises and I want to put them up on the screen. And I don't know how to do that well. Then I have another question, and I'm not sure if this will be related. I've been trying to use the electronic Cambridge. I don't know if anybody else is using that. And and it works for one exercise, but when I go to change the exercise, the little wheel goes around and around and around and around and never stops. So I've just given up on it. And if this isn't the forum for that, if somebody can help me with it at a later date, I'd be really thrilled. So I call on Linda next.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Linda Martin, and I am brand new with this. So my questions are very basic. I've used Zoom to be on meetings, but I never had to set up my own Zoom account and figure out how to set up recurring meetings. So I've just gotten past that little hurdle. And I've only had 3 sessions with my student. And actually we were supposed to meet yesterday and she told me she wasn't feeling well. So we've only had 3 classes so far. I made up some flashcards for yesterday, which we never had a chance to use yet. But I'm open to all of information that I might hear that might help me and make it easier for me. I'm working with a 60-year-old woman who is trying to get her GED. And I applaud her for that at age 60, wanting to get her GED. Absolutely. So I feel not exactly pressure, but I really want to make this work for her. And I'm teaching reading, and we're in the Challenger series. And that's about it for right now. I have lots, well, I'm not sure I have a lot of questions right now, but I'm open to hearing a lot of information that will help me help her. And I can't see anybody else's names. So somebody else could go next, please.
Hi, this is Eileen Flanagan. I have been a tutor over several years, at least more than 5 or 6, but I haven't done anything with the student since COVID. We kind of ended because of her situation, and I haven't gotten back. So I'm interested in, and this is in basic English. I did attend the other Zoom training that I think Steve gave, and it was enormously helpful to me. So I have taught a course on Zoom in a different environment, but the one most practical thing is a greater facility for using the internet in interfacing that with Zoom. So let me call Ann Talent.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ann Talent, and I am currently tutoring an ABE student who is trying to, she actually is a former ESL student who graduated out of the ESL program and is now in ABE and is trying very hard to graduate out of that program and get into the GED program. I've been working with her for 3 or 4 months, and Zoom is completely new for me. I got started as part of the ABE training that I did prior to starting to work with her. So I've set up a recurring meeting, and I meet with her over Zoom. We share the screen. I figured out Google Drive and Google Documents is new for me too, but I have documents organized in those areas and I share them with her and I edit them so that she can see them. But that's kind of the extent of it. I'm sure that there's a lot of additional capabilities that I don't even know about. I guess one thing that's come up is I've wondered, like, once I edit a document, how I get that to her. You know, it's not clear to me, like, sort of it's not clear to me what she can do versus what I can do over Zoom. And it's, I'm already, that's the extent of my knowledge. So I don't know, I'm looking at people's names. I don't see anyone else on my screen that hasn't introduced themselves.
So that's a great question. Thank you, Anne. And what you can do, as you know, as we're learning Zoom here, if you can see my screen, and if you look at the bottom, you can kind of hover over somebody's name. You see that little arrow that points down to the bottom, and it lets you click down the next group of people. So I see Susan Keller here at the top, and I will call on Susan next.
Hi, everybody. Some of you I've met before, some of you I haven't. I'm the Development Communications Coordinator for Delaware County Literacy Council, and I've been here since 2009. So some of you, like Joe, who may have been there before, probably was here before then, know me well. But my role is the website, all the email communications, when we get in the paper, social media, as well as fundraising. The development part is taking care of all of our wonderful donors and sending out letters and other kinds of things to help bring in new donors. And Zoom, so I see Susan Chast is on the call. And Susan Chast knows that I'm part of a poetry group because she is too. And we meet on Zoom monthly, and that's Philly Poetic Resistance. If anybody's interested, you can look it up on Facebook and join us. And the other thing, I'm doing fun things. Of course, there's lots of work things with Zoom, but as one of our perks of being a volunteer tutor, I don't know if you know this, it's kind of buried in the website somewhere, but we do have a book club. And we moved to Zoom probably September 2020. We meet monthly. We use the Delaware County Library System's Book Club in a Bag feature. So folks come to Chester and pick up their book and return their book, and otherwise we just see each other on Zoom. So if you're interested in that, you can email me or Karen. Karen will get the information to me. I'll put my email in the chat. If you know how that works. If you don't, just email who you know at DCLC and tell them that you're interested in joining the book club. And I will pick, because I want to learn how to say her name, Lucy Tescone.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Tescone, like ice cream cone thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Lucy.
Yeah, so my name is Lucy. I just finished the training for ESL, but I have over the years taught ABE. I stopped when COVID hit because my student, although she spoke English, it was a Creole version, and I didn't know how to begin to switch that to online, because even though I use online, I've worked remotely for many years, I just didn't even know how to begin to use it as a teaching base. So I'm hoping to watch what we get taught today, so I don't have to go out and try and figure it out myself, because I don't know where to begin. So yeah, that's what I would like, just to find out all your tricks. And I will call on Steven.
All right. So yeah, my name is Steven Plominski. At DCLC, I am an ESL instructor. Ways that I use Zoom is mostly classes. We meet 3 days a week. So my 2 classes, so I get a lot of time on Zoom. Thing I really like about it is that it does eliminate a lot of the barriers for students attending, getting childcare, transportation.
That's true. That's true.
It just works really well for those things. Downside would be, well, sometimes you have students that are distracted by their things going on in their house. So, and yeah, I'll share some of my things with you today. Sounds like a few of you are a little bit experienced, some of you a little bit less. So we will just do the best we can. I will call on the other Susan that is in the meeting.
Thanks, Stephen. My name is Susan Chast, and I had a basic education student before the pandemic for a couple years, maybe 2.5 years. And luckily, he met his goal. He became a citizen while I was still working with him. He passed the citizenship. And because I haven't been able to do anything since then. So now I've just completed Robert's ESL course, and I've got a new student who will be in ESL, and it's going to be the first time I've done anything with ESL, although I suspect it might be similar. I haven't gotten the books yet, haven't met my student yet. I sent her an email so she would pick a date to meet with me, but and it occurred to me she might not be able to read the email, so I'm waiting for some people at the center DCLC to help us get together for our first meeting. And I've done a lot on Zoom, but I don't really know how to share documents with a student or the kind of things that Robert did in our class, where everything was so organized. You know, he had little things that he could bring up and share with us, and little ways for us to participate. And I would like, of course, to, having seen that once, be an expert right away, but I know how to invite her to Zoom. I know how to send her in. I know those sorts of things. And of course I can talk, and I can even slow down my talking a little bit. But I'm really looking forward to this, to feeling once more like I'm making some kind of contribution to the world and to myself, because I love teaching. Let's see, has, I see some names without faces. One of them is Karen Hardy. Can I call on her?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I'm Karen Hardy. I am a ABE tutor. I've been working with the same student for about 5.5 years. She's made tremendous progress in that time. We haven't been using Zoom, we've been using either FaceTime or Duo or whatever application isn't giving us fits that day. And during the entire pandemic. And when we had the opportunity to go back into the center, she decided she didn't want to. She wants to stay virtual.
Wow.
So I'm looking for ways to get around the use of paper as much. When we use the Challenger book, it's all written, and she winds up sending me pictures of what she's written. And I'm looking at it on my phone, and because it's not on Zoom, it's on my phone. And she's doing all her work on her phone. She does not have
Yes.
a computer or a laptop. So I'm looking for ways to get around the sending pictures back and forth. And let me get the list. Let me put my glasses on first. And VJL.
That's me, Joe Lumley. I've been with the council since 2002, doing one-on-one for several years, having a couple students for a few years until they passed on, not passed away, passed on. And they needed me at as a math instructor for GED class. So I've been with them for 5 years, 6 years, I think. And our school was closed. Our library was closed for the last 1.5 to 2 years. And it just opened up 2 weeks ago. So we're trying to get everybody back. And that's all. I just teach the math currently for GED. And I can't see anybody.
That's okay, Joe. We've got one person left, and that's Cindy. Cindy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
You
Yes.
sure can. Yep.
Hi, I'm Cindy Trego, and I've been tutoring an ABE student for a few years. And when the pandemic hit, we went to meeting via our Zoom on our phones. And I feel like I've stumbled into Zoom, and I'm just kind of fumbling around, and sometimes I get it right and sometimes I don't.
Yes.
And all the things that people have said, like sending pictures back and forth, sharing documents, Google Documents, Cambridge exercises, they all interest me. And earlier this year, the student got a computer. So I have finally stumbled into how to connect with her via computer Zoom. And so I just want to use the resources more effectively and be able to share things with her. It's nice having been on the computer, because then we do some things on our phone as well. So we're still fumbling around. So I'm looking for any direction and moving down the road. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Cindy. And thank you, everyone. It's wonderful having you here. I'm going to now turn things over to our content expert, Steven. Let me stop the share, Steven, and it's all yours.
All right. Expert is a big word. I don't know if I would say that, but okay.
Sorry.
Okay. It's not showing on the screen, but all right. So this is normally how I would share my documents during class. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
All right, great. So usually I use a Google Doc for like our agenda and everything. I'd like to go 200% zoom and then 24 size font just so it's kind of clear for everyone, especially if people are on their phone.
Okay.
So we're going to work through some different skills that we can use. So first, and I know a number of you had mentioned this, creating a meeting or a reoccurring meeting, which is fairly simple once we know how to do it. We'll jump right into that. What I've done is I've taken some screenshots of the Zoom interface as you load it up, and we can kind of go over how to do this. So the first thing that we'll do is is everyone able to find their way to this screen when they open Zoom?
Is that under schedule a meeting, Stephen?
It's under meetings, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So first we have to click on meetings. Good point. I guess mine automatically opens to that, but you might go to home.
I was just going to say, how do you get to even pick that?
Yeah, so you have to open your Zoom app, and this should be the first screen that shows up. Maybe you're on home and you just have to click on meetings. So
I have no idea. This is the first time. I'm just going to listen and write notes, and Susan will send me stuff.
So maybe it's about going to zoom.us on your browser
Yeah.
versus, and then signing in versus some people
Nope.
might not have the app on their, might not have the app on their desktop. So
Good point. Make sure you have the Zoom application installed on your computer.
I downloaded what they told me
Okay,
to.
perfect. So once you start that on your computer, you should see a screen similar to this, and you just have to click on meetings.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll play with it later. I'll call Susan.
All right. So meetings, unfortunately, this is a screen that I can't share. Zoom, I think it's to protect your private information. So I can't share it to kind of go over everything. So that's why I have this screen share. So after we're here, we're going to click on the plus button. And I'll share these documents with all of you as well. We click the plus button, and then it'll say schedule meeting, schedule from Outlook, or schedule from Google Calendar. I have never played around with schedule from Outlook or Google Calendar. I prefer just to click schedule meeting. It just keeps it very simple and easy to follow. So we're going to schedule our meeting. And then we get another screen that kind of has all the information with the schedule meeting. So if you're trying to schedule just a single meeting, it's going to ask you for the start day and time and how long it is. And you can name it if you want to. If you're scheduling a reoccurring meeting though, you're just going to click here and all of this goes away. All right. So we just click reoccurring if that's something that you would like to do.
What do you mean all this goes away? What goes away?
So all of this right here goes away. So it won't ask you for the start date. It won't ask you for how long it will be.
Okay.
It'll just say reoccurring meeting and then you move on.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you know you're meeting with a student frequently, I would recommend just clicking reoccurring meeting.
Yeah.
And then it's the same link every time as well. So once they have the link, you don't have to constantly send it to them. Well, maybe you still do, but. Are we good so far?
Yep.
All right, great. So then meeting ID, passcode, waiting rooms, all of these will already be set up, and I would just scroll past it. If you want video on, you can click turn the video on for the host and the participants. I normally switch these on. For this one, for some reason, it had it off, but I usually turn these on, and students can turn off their video if they wish, but it's easier just to have it there right away. And then finally, oh, question. Resume. Oh, okay. And then if you want to export it to a calendar that you have saved or running on your computer, you can do that. Or you can just click other calendars and it doesn't force you to link your Zoom to any of the calendar services that you use. I think I was using the free Zoom for this, Susan. Yeah. So I click other calendars and then it'll pop up with all the information about it. So you could just copy this to clipboard and send it to them. But the main thing here is this box right here.
Which box?
The one that I have in red right here. This is the important information.
Is that the link?
That is the link. So if you want to send them just the link, you could just copy that. But if you want to send them all of this, you could just copy to clipboard and send that.
I found less is more.
Exactly. Yep.
I have a
So,
question.
yep.
When you take a student in at the center, does somebody teach the student how to read this? Or is that a problem that comes up?
Read what?
This is a lot of small print with a lot of numbers and weird words.
So they don't have to click on it. They don't have to read anything. They just have to know to click this link.
So in other words, you do teach them to go ahead, to skip reading and just click.
I think most students know to click just a web link.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a good point.
And actually, Stephen, to interject there, when they come through orientation, students are given a guide for how to sign on to Zoom. So yes, they do know what this means.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you do if the link is not underscored?
Oh,
I
if
know
it's
the
not
answer
a,
to that. You
not a
just
hyperlink, yeah.
hit the space bar. Like
Mhm.
right after it, hit the space bar and then Outlook. I know in Outlook at least, and I think in Comcast too. So go to the
Thank
end of
you.
the link, hit space bar, and it magically pops up.
Great, thanks.
Yes, good point. So that's usually the only issue with the hyperlink is that you need to use a space afterwards for it to complete it. But that would be the important thing. Just send them, copy the Zoom link and send that to them.
I'm going to ask a stupid question. It's Joe again. I am trying to control print your screen and I can't do it. Is that right?
I will
can't
send you all
print
these
it?
documents. I'll send these
Okay.
to Jen and Susan to distribute to everyone. With all my marking on them as well. So you can kind of follow along. And I'll show you how you can. I'm going to show you the program that I use to mark everything. and
Plus
how
you'll
you
have a
would download
video.
that.
You'll have a video you can watch, Joe, afterwards. So you can
And a
actually
video.
hear everybody's questions and see the whole thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Could somebody go over the thing about the space bar?
Yeah, here, let me show you real fast. So if I have let me get to mine so I can just copy one. Okay, so if I have a meeting here and it's just black like this,
Yeah.
you can just click afterwards and add a space. And it turns into a link that you can click.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Mhm. You're
So
welcome.
they can't access it unless it's underlined and in blue, I guess.
Well, they could copy it and put it into their browser and all of that, but it's easier if they can just click on it, especially if you're texting it to them or emailing it to them. They can just click on it and it'll open right up for them.
Okay.
Good
You
question.
need 24 hours, not one.
Yeah.
Takes some practice for sure. And then after you have it all scheduled, you'll go back. Once you open your Zoom app, you'll see your scheduled meetings or your upcoming meetings, and you should see all of them listed below, which ones you have available. So this would be where you could go back in and copy the invitation again, where you could edit it, or what we all want to do is start the meeting.
Okay.
Click start and everything pops up for you. Any other questions?
Someone told me that if you click on, I guess the waiting room feature is already clicked. If you unclick that, then you don't have to make one extra step of letting your student in.
That's very true. You can do that. Yep. I know at the beginning of using Zoom, there were people just entering random Zooms being inappropriate. So I think that's why Zoom introduced the waiting room feature. I keep it because if I have a student show up an hour late, I can send them a message and say, good try, come back tomorrow. But you can disable it if you would like.
Okay.
Yep. And that would just be under, when you're creating it, you would just unclick waiting room. You can also get rid of passcode if they're struggling with that. Most of the time when you have the link, students don't need the passcode. But if they do require it, that would be where that is.
Are you going to talk to us about what you're using to circle things and all that?
I
'Cause it's really
am.
cool.
Yeah, so far we're just doing the interfacing with Zoom and creating a meeting. And if we're good there, I'll move on to, well, we can do some audio and video settings, but is everyone okay with scheduling the meeting and starting
Yes.
it?
I think so.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right, so next would be, we could talk briefly about some video and audio settings. Just because there is some fun stuff, or not fun, but good stuff that you can change on there. So I forgot to take a screenshot of how to get to settings, but if you can find the little cogwheel on, where would it be? Trying to think how to do this. All right, let me take a screenshot again. Okay, so if I'm on the main app again, I can click on my name up here, or my little icon here. And then you can click on settings up in the top right. It'll have like your initials.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can't.
If you click on your name, the little wheel comes up. Is that what I heard?
Nope, it'll drop down and you'll have all of these settings. So you can
Okay.
set to available, change your picture, switch accounts. And then we're going to click on settings. Which is a lot of settings. So we won't talk about all of them. But once you click on it, you should get this screen. Can everyone see like general video?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Zoom allows me to show this. So you can kind of look through and see if any of these are ones that you are interested in. But if you go to video, there's some different stuff. You can change which camera you're using, touch up your appearance if you want to look nicer. You can adjust for a low light. So if you find that no one can see you, you can do that.
So does it change your age if you want to look, 20?
Yeah.
I don't
find
actually
that
know.
one, Find that one.
Let's find out about that.
It
Yeah.
seems to smooth out your skin or something.
I love it.
Something to play with. I don't usually change anything in here, but the audio is kind of where we can adjust a lot of stuff. So you can test your microphone, make sure you sound good, make sure people can understand you. I think automatically adjust microphone volume is a setting that is turned on by default. And if you find that your students can't hear you, you could turn that off and then adjust your volume manually. Suppress background noise for me is very nice. You can adjust it to auto, low, medium, or high. So if you know you have animals around you or things happening in the background, suppressing your background noise is always very nice. And then there's a few other audio settings.
Wait, did you say if you increase the microphone here, you have to shut off something on your computer? Is that
Nope.
what you said? Oh,
I turn off automatic adjust microphone volume
I got it.
because then I can
underneath that.
adjust it manually.
Understood. Thank you.
Right. So if I'm very quiet, then I can
Yeah.
turn it up.
Got it.
Good. And I don't think any of these are super important. And then screen share is a good one that there's a good setting here that you can adjust. If you know you're always sharing your screen and you don't want to have to go through all the different clicks, I click when I share my screen in a meeting, automatically share desktop. So when you click share screen, it just automatically pops up what you want. Unless you want to share like only Chrome or only Microsoft Word. But I personally just share my desktop.
Steven, that allows you then you can click onto other files and not have to go stop share, new share. blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like I could just slide over like a sticky note and you can see the sticky note on top of everything, right?
So anything you can access on your computer will show up for them.
Correct. So like you can see my start menu, you can see
That's really
everything.
cool. That's
So
really
if screen share is always checked, they can see your email, you can see everything, right?
They could, yes. So
you
that's
have to,
where
you have to click on it and open it. You know
yeah,
what I
you'd
mean?
have to
If
have it open.
whatever's on the top that you're seeing, that's what they see.
Mhm.
They can't
Got it,
click on it.
got
They
it.
can't get to
Yep.
it.
Got it.
Which is one thing I'll go over in a second too. Any questions about settings?
No.
You can also add a background filter if you would want. It's fun, but not necessary. Okay. So we'll come back to using chat because I know we want to do screen sharing. That was a big thing everyone had mentioned. So screen share is great. And this is how most of my classes go is I share my screen or students share theirs. So most of the time the cameras are super small, but the main thing is that everyone can see what we're talking about.
Stephen, why is it you were liking Google Drive? I use Word for all my documents. Why is
I like using, I'll talk about that. So I recommend having all your windows open before your meeting.
Yeah.
I personally use Google Drive for everything so that if I have a folder, like I have tutor workshop and I have all my documents, I can open all of those and just have them in the tab in the order that I want to discuss them, right? If I have Word open, I then have to go find the Word document that I want. I just find it easier to have everything all up on the top, usually in the order that I want to talk about them.
It sounds
even
like
if-
some, oh, I'm sorry.
So even if I have multiple Google Drive or Google Docs open, I can just click between them instead of searching through my Word documents.
And you can't, I mean, I'm finding, this is maybe where, and I don't want to take a lot of time with this. If I have 3 different quote pages of exercises and each one is in a separate Word doc, and I share one and then I share another and then I share a third, but they're in Word, I'm not sure how it's different using Google Drive.
It's not. You can use whichever one that you
Okay, I
like
don't need
best.
to, if it's working, I'm not gonna.
If it's working, don't change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think some people actually share that document. That's what Google Drive can do.
Yeah.
I
Google
don't
Drive is
understand. What do you mean they share that document? I don't get.
so, for example, if I have this window open and I want you to have access to edit at the same time, I can click on share and I can share it with students. I could type in their email and share it with them. I could also copy the link and put it in chat. So I'll do that. So then if you want to, you can click on it and you would be able to go in and see the
Does that mean that, say there's an exercise with a blank, that
Mhm.
my student can fill in the blank on my
Correct.
screen? Yes?
Yes.
And I just want to get this right. Are you saying that does not work in Word or it does work in Word?
I don't think it works in Word.
Oh,
So that's the good thing about being able to share it with people is that they can,
Got
right
it.
now I have it so anyone can view it with the link, but you can change them to editor or commenter. So if you want people to be able to edit the document, you would change it to editor, copy the link, and then send it to them.
And I don't
Steven,
think
this
it's a Google Doc versus Microsoft Word issue. I think it's the Google, you're looking at an online, something in the cloud. You
Mhm.
can also put Microsoft in the cloud too. So
That is
and-
correct. Yeah.
yeah,
how do you do that? Okay.
Stephen, this is way advanced for me. Are you, well,
You
details
bet.
about this be in the training? I just learned how to set up multiple meetings, so you're really blowing my mind.
If I
You
could
could've
just
Just gonna
interject
say, that's
too.
way over my head.
Some of
Yeah.
the things, some of these things with Google, they are in a future workshop. So this whole,
Yes.
our other teacher, Chris Zakrashemny, will be sharing what he does with Google Classroom. So all of those questions, you can kind of put a pin in it or write them down.
Okay, good.
Okay, but for now, we're
Yep.
gonna let Stephen go ahead with the
Okay.
Sorry.
Zoom.
No worries. So yeah, the reason I use Google Drive is because most students already have a Gmail account. And if you're using Word, they have to have a Microsoft account. So it's just kind of streamlining what students have and what I'm using. Okay, but that's,
May I ask one more question?
course.
Barnes and Noble, do they have books, like they have Excel books for all the different years on how to read it, and so you can scribble your pages, and do they have that on Zoom, since Zoom is so popular lately? Or you don't know that yet?
Somebody's written a book on it, believe me.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a book on how to
Okay.
do.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So I can share. So when you're screen sharing, I know some of you might use videos. So here's our screen, right? When you join the meeting, and it'll have screen share at the bottom. So we'll click on screen share. And then this screen will pop up unless you enable it to automatically share desktop. But then you could choose which one you want to use. So if you're using a Word document, you could just select Word document. I always just share my screen. I personally find it easier, but that's for each person. And then if you want to share your sound, the sound button, you would want to click right here, share sound. So if you know you're sharing a video, you can click on share sound and they would hear the audio from the video.
So there's a little blue button on the lower right. That has to be pushed for whether you're going to do sound or video. Is that correct?
In the bottom left, share sound. You click that, and then before they see anything, you have to click share.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay.
Yep. Good.
Stephen, I have a question.
Yes.
So when I'm in this screen, I always click on Google Chrome, I think. And is that
Okay.
because I'm using Google Drive documents? Or like, what's the difference between clicking on Google Chrome and screen share?
Google Chrome would just have it share only your Google Chrome window.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Same as if you click on the Word.
Okay. Okay.
That would only share your Word document.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
So this is for share sound. If watching. But if you set up in settings where it automatically shares to your desktop, you only have to click share screen and it automatically pops up, which is, you skip a lot of clicking if you're frequently sharing your screen. And then, oh, and I showed how to do that again here, but we already talked about that. Any questions about sharing your screen? And I will give you a chance to try that in just a minute, but I know there was questions about how I am drawing on all my stuff. So I'll show that real fast. Yes, Susan.
Will we be able to share book pages directly from books we're using at the center? Those books online to share?
Yeah, if you have the website open, you can just share your screen with the
Okay.
website. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
So for example, I frequently use Newsella. So we're looking at I Have a Dream, and we can look through it like this and we can read it together. And this is normally how I do readings as a class.
How did you get that page on there?
I just opened a new tab on Chrome and I went to the website.
And so it's not from a book, it's from
It's from the website, yeah.
website link. Okay.
But if you have the book, you could always maybe scan a few pages and then display it.
Okay.
And I have done that in the past. But for editing, if you have it saved, well, I'll zoom in. If you have it saved as a Word document, you can just type and edit things right like that, which is really nice for having an agenda, or if you're working on a worksheet together, being able to type the answers right in here. And then all the basic editing functions that you would have with Word or Google Documents are available. However, if you have a PDF, you can edit it and draw on it and all of that fun stuff. I personally like to use PDFs because then I can't accidentally delete stuff. I can kind of draw on it, delete it, and use it again in a future class. But what I do is if you right click on the PDF, again, this is only in Google Drive. If you have a PDF saved to your computer and you're using Adobe, it's similar, and I'll show. So I would go to Open With, and if you're a fan of Google Drive, we would go to Connect with More Apps, and I just search PDF, And I am a big fan of using Kami, and that's the one that I'm using today. But you can also use Adobe on Google Drive as well. I'll show with both of those really fast. Actually, let me open a reading just so I can show you on the reading. 1 second. Okay. So if I have the reading open, and this is using Kami, you can then have all of your different things here. I can mark up, so I can highlight different parts of it. So if as students are reading, I notice that there's a word that's being mispronounced,
Oh,
maybe
that's
we just
great.
highlight it. You
Great.
can also go to text box and you can add notes right on the document. What is a primary source?
And they just go away afterwards. Is that right?
They will be saved onto the document. So if I close this and then I open it again, all these highlights will be here.
Okay.
You can delete it, and you can go to menu and then delete all annotations.
Okay.
And that gets rid of all of them. Or you can go to the eraser and erase them individually. So this is something that I frequently do is
That's great.
highlight, add a question, or you can draw and add shapes to it as well. So if I only want to underline stuff, oh, that's the wrong one. If I want to underline, I can go like that.
And this is Kami, but Adobe you said is.
Adobe is very similar, yes. Here, let me open it with Adobe. So I'll go to open with, and then you could connect it, but let me change it to Adobe. So see, it saved my underlining. Oh, this is another one that I was doing yesterday, just to practice.
I'm sorry, it saved it from Kami, or is
Nope,
this?
it saved it from when I was playing with Adobe yesterday.
Okay, okay.
So I'm going to erase it. I'm not going to erase it. I don't know why. I think it's just because I had flattened it. I had made it save all of my stuff.
Stephen, I have a question. When I'm in Zoom, I have all of those tools or similar tools at the top in Zoom. How does this differ from using the Zoom tools?
So you can use in Zoom the annotate features.
Yeah, yes.
I don't really like the annotate features because it's not as clean.
Okay.
Plus, like if I close this document, I close it and then I go back maybe the next time I'm meeting with them and I open it again, all my highlights and markings are going to be there. So if you revisit the same article, if you revisit the same document, your markings are going to stay until you delete them.
Okay.
Whereas if you're annotating with Zoom, they go away.
And then if you share this document, well, can the student also do these annotations if you bring it up in a shared screen?
Not when you're doing it on a shared screen on a PDF. So if you want to both work on the same document, I would just recommend using like a Google document.
Okay.
A PDF would not allow you to do that. Okay. But I would be able to then go to like maybe I finish highlighting a bunch of stuff. Maybe I highlight all like act, judgments. I finish marking it all up. And I want the students to see my highlights. I want them to see my comments on here. I would just go to download and it says export. And you can choose no annotations or with all annotations. And I choose with annotations and then it just exports all of it for you.
Okay.
And that's how I share it on Google Classroom, which Chris will go over in the future. But I like Kami the most just because it does have so many different features and they're all very nicely put over here. You can mark up, you can add a text box, you can draw, all of that. But if you like to do Adobe, it's very similar. You just have to find where all the different options are.
Can you just remind me again how you get into Kami in the first place?
Sure. So if I have a document that's a PDF on Google Drive,
Mhm.
I'm going to go with Open With, and then connect with more apps. Mine are already here because I've already used them, but we'll go to connect with more apps. And then search. I usually just search PDF. And then you click on Kami. It asks you to install and give you all the authorizations.
Thank
And
you.
then the next time you open it, it should open automatically with Kami.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any questions? This is my favorite way to share readings because you can really zoom in a lot. You can highlight, underline, take notes on it at the same time. And that's why it's nice having everything right on the browser, is that I can just go back. If I want to start typing something, I'd go back to our notes and start typing our questions or our answers for stuff. That would be how we annotate. I know we're running a little low on time, but would anyone like to try sharing their screen if it's your first time? Are we okay?
I'll try.
Sorry,
I mean,
Jen.
All
somebody
right.
else?
I think, Jen, do they have permission?
I have multiple participants marked, so
Okay.
they should be good.
Yep. So Anne, you could try sharing your screen.
Hey, this is, so my Zoom, do I have to, I don't understand even how to start. I know how to, do I open and back?
Okay. So
Do I
you see
go to
all of
my-
our faces right now?
No, I see yours and mine right now.
Okay. So at the bottom of your screen, do you see where it says share screen on Zoom? So you should be on where you see my face and your face. At the bottom, you should see a part.
Under
I think I
more,
have to go more, and I get to share screen.
Okay, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, so are you all seeing everything that I have?
We see Eileen. Eileen is sharing.
I shared a screen.
I'm seeing share content. I see yours now as well. Yes.
Hello, tutors, right?
Yep, I see
I
that.
got yours.
Perfect. Yeah, we just have it so two people are sharing at the same time right now.
I
That's why
only
we're all
see
confused.
one. I don't see two. I see
Yeah,
mine.
that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. All right, let me stop.
So what do I do? Do I just close this? How do I? Stop
So you would go
sharing?
back to stop share. Yep. So if you're currently sharing, please stop your sharing. So Eileen is the only one sharing right now.
Where does it say stop share? Just turn off to the share
It's too
button.
big.
It should be the stop share. It should be kind of floating on your screen somewhere.
Oh, I didn't see it, but that
Should be
doesn't
a
mean
red button.
anything. I am so lost right now, Steven.
Okay. Yeah, it'll take some practice.
Yeah.
But I recommend just kind of opening a meeting by yourself and trying all the different share screen and stuff like that. Because it does take a little bit of time. but
Well,
it
anything
gets-
new is overwhelming, I think, to begin with.
Yes. But okay. I know someone had mentioned using polls in your meetings. I personally think it's too much of a hassle to use. especially if you're meeting one-on-one with a student. I've tried using them in class, and you have to go to the website. You have to plan ahead before you do it. And then students just don't see it. It's
Done.
not worth the hassle.
Good.
Yeah. But chat is a good thing. Is everyone able to find your chat button?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So one thing that I like to do is have students type out an answer, but not send their answer. So if you want to practice using chat, tell me, what future plan are you most excited for? And don't send it, just hold it there.
I might offer that sometimes you have to hover, like move your cursor, and then the bottom stuff shows up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it is a bit different on mobile.
Why is it you have them type it in, but not send it?
Well, in a classroom setting, I don't want students to just copy each other.
Oh, sure.
So
Right.
That's nice. But if you're just working one-on-one, you can just have them send their answers whenever they want. If you're even using chat. I don't personally use chat very often.
I use chat to correct spelling and to help with pronunciation, like sort of with a rhyme or something.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. I usually just always have, sorry.
Chat's one of the easier functions.
Yeah, whatever works best for you, for sure. So if everyone has something typed, you could go ahead and send it now. Next workshop, plan to use annotations, learning more about sharing, participants asking if they can get a follow-up because we're running out of time. Perfect. Yes, we could do a follow-up. Helping my daughter move to
I love
interesting.
That one,
It's so good. Planning to check out some of these settings. Good.
How do you send it?
Just press enter.
Oh.
Perfect. Using it more when screen sharing. Great. There's so many things that you can do once you know how to screen share. I share YouTube videos sometimes, but most of mine are using the Kami to edit PDFs or using Word to share my screen. All of those are really helpful.
I'm gonna have to sign off. I'm really sorry. Please.
No
have another
worries.
workshop.
I will send all of these documents to Susan. And well, Susan, would you be the best person to send these to send them out to tutors, or should I send them to Jen? Or both?
Yeah, both. I would copy Karen actually, because
And Karen, perfect.
people might ask her questions and she'll be like, what are you talking about? And she'll want to attend, I think.
Of course, of course. I have some common challenges that I encounter. So if you are having these with students, these are listed here. One would be if a student can't hear you or you can't hear them, they have to connect to the audio, especially if they're on their phone. And that's just in the bottom left. So usually if I can't hear them, I just screen share and tell them, hey, you need to connect to audio. And that usually works. Another one might be students not seeing the screen share. I would just stop your screen share, share again. Those are two basic ones. Another one that you might encounter is students' audio cutting out, right? So you hear like a word or two, then nothing, and then a word or two. Usually this is an internet issue and it's too much bandwidth being used. And what I recommend for that is just turning off cameras. If it's something that you're having happen all the time and you're screen sharing anyways, turn off the cameras and that usually fixes it.
How about a freeze? You know, when things freeze up?
Same thing, yeah.
Cut off the camera?
Cutting off the camera usually fixes the problem just because having your video shared uses a lot of internet. So if you turn those off, it's one less thing.
Got it.
that usually solves the issue.
Okay.
If it doesn't, tell them to connect to Wi-Fi, or if they are on Wi-Fi, they probably need to contact their internet provider, which is another issue that we can't really help with. But
I need to say goodbye. It was comforting to know that I'm not alone, and it was wonderful to have you answer our questions, Stephen.
and I'll include my email at the
Thank you.
bottom. So if anyone has,
Sorry. You'll be
any-
sorry.
I get emails all the time. It's all right.
Okay.
S.
Okay.
Plominski.
Okay.
But-
All right. Bye, everybody.
I
Again,
would offer the
Bye.
same. Bye, Ann.
See
Bye.
you next time.
If somebody wants to just start a meeting with me sometime, today's not a good day, but another day. Because
Oh, that would be great.
go
Okay.
take a nap. Yes, thank you. There you go. Put my email in there.
I'll
And
put
then,
yours
you
there
know,
as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun.
But-
I like communing with our tutors. So I will
Yes.
offer that. And, you know, if I'm real busy and have to put you off, I'll do that. But invite me and then you can practice.
Okay. And
Yep.
was it S. Plominski at DCLC? Is that what it was?
Yes, S. Plominski at DCLC. I'll share my screen again. But this will be going out
Oh, it's
to
Delco Literacy.
all of you so you can take a look through my things. If you email me, try and say you want to meet, I have a website that I use for students to schedule appointments with me, and I'll just send that to you so you can kind of pick a day and time that works best.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Gotta go.
You're
I
very
think Jen left the meeting and I want to mention that.
Oh, your audio is cutting out.
Lost you, Susan.
Oh, why? Oh,
All right, repeat.
sorry. I think I pulled it. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I was talking with my hands and I pulled a wire. So there's another problem with Zoom possibly. There's going to be Jen briefly mentioned, there's going to be one on Google Classroom, which will get deeper into Google Docs and how that'll help you. And I don't know. I don't know much about Google Classroom, so I'm definitely taking that one. And then the other one is when Stephen jumped onto Newsella. The other one's about Newsella and News for You Online. So using some of these online tools that already have readings with vocabulary and questions and how you can incorporate them into your lessons. And that's for ESL and ABE. So
Do you have dates for them yet, Susan, or are you going to email us?
we'll email you. Yeah, I don't think they're,
Even though I know that's going to be over my head, I still need to.
well, Joe's going to invite me to a meeting. And we're going to practice and you're going to be better than you thought you could be.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen.
You're very welcome. And just so everyone knows, this is everything that you can do on the free or basic Zoom. The only thing that the paid version gives you is unlimited meetings, I guess. But I think even right now, the free one does that as well. So
I had a question about if you share your desktop and then you go to a video, do you have to go into to share the sound, or is that automatic?
yeah, so if you automatically share your desktop, you would just have to click share screen again and then click on share audio.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not automatically shared, which I personally like, because if you
You don't want
have
them to hear everything on. that's
if you have
going
an
on.
email ding go off or anything like that, they don't hear it. But if you are automatically sharing your desktop, I highly recommend just making sure you have everything closed besides what you're going to be discussing for the day. Obviously, you have your own personal stuff as well. And that's also why I like using Google Chrome and Google Docs as opposed to like Word, is because I don't have to scroll through my own personal documents to get through to that. All right. Any other final questions before we wrap up today?
I'm going to jump in one more time. I don't know if people know this, but if on free Zoom, with one person, you can go as long as you want. But if you invite two people, so if there's 3 people on the screen, 40 minutes is the limit. But if you do it as a recurring meeting, you can just have them leave the meeting and then start the meeting again. So, with the same link. So that's what we do in book club. Because
Oh, perfect.
I use free Zoom for that. But one-on-one, you could go for as long as you want. So it's great for tutoring. It's just real good.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Stephen.
Good luck.
Look forward